I don't know if sharing it with others will ease my conscience or not, but it's the only peace I think I might be able to find. It was a late summer night and this guy named Jeremy called to report a crime. Well, honestly, I don't know for sure if there's a crime to report or not exactly. It's just, a lot of odd behavior from my roommate has made me feel on edge. I asked them exactly what was going on. They started to ramble about their roommate, a college rat named Mike that apparently liked to sleep around with all of the dorm girls. Last month I swear it was a different girl every single night. I'm not trying to sound jealous here, but he has a way with women. He's an excellent cook, too. I wasn't sure how that was relevant, but they explained that they really noticed the odd behavior after one girl in particular ran out of the roommate's bedroom screaming and calling him disgusting. There was nothing wrong with that, of course, but the way she acted, it sounded like it was worse than his performance in the bedroom. She was scared, and my roommate was furious and chased after her. The strangest part of all, I never saw her on campus again. That made me start to ask around about his other girls. I guess I've never really been home when they left, but it made me wonder if there were complaints. I didn't really want to lose my dorm just because he was being a jerk. When I started asking people about his old flames, I noticed a consistent trend. Alex, one of his former teammates, said that Mike had dated 6 girls and none of them were ever seen on campus again. I got a few names and, well, I called the registry. Alex was right. Those girls aren't students here anymore. I told him I didn't understand how that really relates to his roommate. Maybe it was just one-night stands with girls that were getting ready to leave the college. I didn't see a problem. I was trying to use typical tactics to calm him down and move on to a different caller. Well, see, I thought that too until I got home early today from class. I was sick. Anyway, that doesn't matter because when I got here, Mike was surprised to see me. He was lugging this heavy black trash bag that stunk. Like, it was awful. And there was a dark stain on the floor where he had dragged it over toward the garbage chute. Long story, but we have one in the middle of our building. It's like an old thing meant for laundry, but now it just goes to an incinerator. Before he could continue, I heard a noise in the background, like someone banging on a wooden door. "Where exactly are you now, Jeremy?" I remember asking. Then I heard a voice in the background shouting for him to open the door. Jesus, that's him. I knew this would happen. "Look, can you send someone or not? I swear to you that he's going to kill me." I was hesitant. All he had told me so far sounded like it could just be a coincidence. Nothing to say that Mike was in danger, but I kept hearing that pounding noise and finally agreed to get his address. But that was too late, unfortunately. The noises on the other end of the phone line became overwhelming and I heard signs of a struggle, glass breaking, someone shouting. Then the phone rang full of static and a new voice came on the line. "Who is this?" they asked. I told them my name was Lisa and that their roommate had called emergency services. I even lied and said that operators had traced the call. I didn't want something bad to happen to Jeremy, but unfortunately for me, the roommate called my bluff. "You don't have that capability. Trust me, I've been through this song and dance before with my last stupid roommate." He paused and I heard a sharp groan like he was pulling Jeremy closer to the phone. "I never thought you were smart enough to call the cops on me, but I guess I underestimated you," Mike said. "There are body parts in that bag," Jeremy shouted. He tried to give me the address, but I heard Mike slam his fist in his face and I guessed Jeremy went unconscious. "You said your name is Lisa?" Mike said, his voice as cold as ice. It sounded like all emotion had drained from his soul. "Mike, don't do anything you're going to regret," I remember telling them. "I have a lot of regrets, but what I do with these girls, it gives me pleasure when I chop up their bodies and then I put them in the food I serve." "You hear that, Jeremy? I served you people, every single meal, and you never even knew," Mike shouted. Jeremy didn't respond, of course, and I wasn't sure he was alive. I soon found out that he was, but it didn't last very long. "I'll be right back, Lisa. I want you to hear what's going to happen to my stupid roommate because he thought that he could stop me." Mike put the phone down and I kept trying to call out to Jeremy. "You have to tell me your address, please. I can get people there fast," I told him. I didn't hear a sound. Then I heard a grunt at last and Jeremy was choking out a few simple words. He told me where the college was at and what dorm they were in, and I told him I would stay on the line as police got there. It sucks that I have to kill you, Jeremy. I hate killing men. They lack flavor. When I taste a woman's flesh, it sends me to nirvana. It makes me feel that I am a god, Mike said as he returned. I heard screams fill the air as something sharp pierced Jeremy. It sounded like Mike was using a chainsaw. I think I will just incinerate you. Dump your useless body into the fire where no one ever find even a speck of you, Mike said. Somehow, he also remembered the phone was still connected, and he held it next to his face. You still there, Lisa? Is this turning you on? Police are almost there, Mike. You're going to be arrested, I told him. My threat didn't even faze him. I hope that means we get to see each other soon, Lisa. I think you would be a fun little dish to have. First, I would sleep with you, then drug you, then sleep with you again until I was satisfied, and then eat every last bit of your body up. First, I would devour your legs. He kept rambling as he cut up Jeremy's body, and I had to hear every second of this evil. Finally, he turned the saw off, and I heard him tossing body parts into bags. Lisa, I'm going to have to go now. I think this college scene isn't for me anymore. Then he dropped the phone. I think I held my breath until first responders got there. There was a mountain of evidence in the dorm, my supervisor later told me. Mike had even included a video camera hidden in the wall to document his sick fetish of evil. The evidence would put him away for life, had he not gotten away. We spread the word on campus and in the local area about him, but somehow Mike had slipped away. It still keeps me awake at night to think that he was fantasizing about eating me as well. I have decided that he isn't even worthy of being considered a human, just a monster that wears human skin. I know this sounds especially morbid, but I hope one day I get a different 911 call that tells me where Mike is at. Stop his reign of terror. Stop this evil from hurting others. Next time, I won't hesitate. Next time, he will regret taunting me.
Last night, at around 2:30 a.m., I was woken up by a phone call. I assumed it was spam. Maybe my ex-girlfriend calling me to say something stupid, and instinctively reached over to decline the call. My tired brain didn't even bother seeing who it was as I hung it up and went back to sleep. I got another call around 5 minutes later. I groaned and reached to decline it again, but this time I saw who was calling me. 911? Why was 911 calling me? I checked the time. It was 2:35. A call from the police at 2:35? Confused, I answered the call. Hello? I asked. I didn't hear anything at first. Hello? I asked again. Hi, a raspy voice replied. This would have been the part where I threw my phone across the bed, but for whatever reason I decided to keep talking. Who is this? I said, forgetting for a second that it was obvious. Didn't the number appear when I called? It's the police, you fucking idiot. I remembered trying to decline the call around this point, but the button didn't work. What the hell? I muttered to myself, hearing the person on the other end laugh to himself. Idiot. You're an idiot, the voice quietly said. Irritated, I asked, You don't sound like an operator. Oh, I'm an operator, all right, the voice dryly hissed. But not one that's willing to kiss your ass anymore. This was confusing. What are you talking about? I said, trying to hang up the call again. But it wouldn't even let me power off my phone anymore. I was being forced to listening to some croaky voice spout a bunch of nonsense. The voice seemed to ignore my previous question and kept talking. I am an operator, and I can do everything an operator can do, and more. The voice chuckled to himself again before he kept going. I'm sorry for messing up your good night's sleep, but you need to know about something. What the fuck? I realized that whoever I was talking to, probably part of the police, and stopped myself at the last second. What should I know about you? There was another pause before the operator began talking again. Before I ask anything, do you remember everyone who called you today? Besides you, Nobody called me today. Why do you ask? The operator breathed what sounded like a sigh of relief, but his voice made it hard to hear exactly what it was. Good. That means our plan is still working. You're not the only one who picked up so far, the operator said. Plus, the simple fact that you picked up pretty much forces you to go through with what we have planned. I managed to ask, what do you mean? Before I was interrupted by multiple notifications. I had received 4 or so text messages, all from different numbers. I opened up one of the messages without thinking. It was a house. The image looked like it was taken in the middle of the night. The sky was dark and none of the windows in the house had any light in them. It didn't look like any of the houses in my neighborhood, not even any houses I recognized from anywhere nearby. I opened up the other 3 texts. They all showed a similar image, an image of someone's house, taken in the middle of the night. What is this? I asked. I already said. You aren't the first one who received a call like this. These are all from the past 4 months, the operator replied. His gravelly voice seemed ominously quieter than before. You're looking at dead people's houses. I stayed quiet for a bit before replying. What? You're looking at dead people's houses. All of these people lost the game, so we killed them. You're not serious, are you? The operator laughed again. I hated his laugh. His scratchy, mocking laugh so much. You idiot. Of course we're serious. Do you want to see the bodies? No. No, I don't, I replied. Coward. Fine, you don't doubt that I'm a 911 operator, right? What kind of operator talks about killing people in some game? You're not an operator. You're a maniac. I found myself shouting suddenly. What the fuck do you want from me? Why did you call me? Ugh, fine. I confess. I may or may not be a 911 operator. There. Are you happy now? Please, leave me alone. Hang up the phone. Don't call back. I'll call the police on you, even if you're already an operator. The operator started cackling, and he kept cackling for way too long. Oh, you idiot! You blind idiot! What police? And that's when he hung up. I struggled to fall back asleep for a bit, especially when I got another text message from one of the phone numbers that was basically a recording of the whole conversation. The message claimed that he said something that gave it away, but after listening to it quite a few times, I still can't find what he's talking about. But I'm scared. From what I've heard, 911 operators can track calls.